The geometry of scars. Before I learned to bend reality, I knew a simpler magic. The kind that lived in the millimeter of space between a scalpel and a severed nerve. The magic of precision, of control. I could chart a course through the labyrinth of the human body, navigate the fragile highways of the nervous system, and stitch life back together. My hands, they were instruments of certainty in a world of chaos. They knew the answers. Now, they tremble. Not from the nerve damage that's a distant echo, a phantom limb of a life I no longer own. They tremble from the sheer, crushing weight of all the questions. My name is Stephen Strange. Or it was. That name belongs to the man with the steady hands. The man who believed the universe was a clockwork mechanism that could be understood, dismantled, and repaired. The man who measured success and saved lives in scientific accolades. Now, they call me the Sorcerer Supreme. It sounds like a promotion, feels like a life sentence. A janitor of infinity, armed with a mop made of cosmic string, trying to clean up spills across realities I was never meant to see. The scars on my hands are a map of my failure as a surgeon. But they are clean, they are finite. The scars that truly define me are the ones no one can see. They are etched onto my soul, carved there by the light of 14,605 futures. People think I just watch them, like films. A cosmic movie marathon of galactic doom. They have no idea. You don't watch 14 million realities, you live them. You are born into them, you fight in them, and you die in every single one but a single, solitary instance. I felt the snap, not just once. I felt it millions of times. I felt my own body dissolve into dust, the sudden shocking silence as my consciousness was unmade. I felt the grit of tightened soil in my teeth as I collapsed. I felt the heat of the power stone on my skin as Thanos tore me apart atom by atom. I felt the cold indifference in his eyes as he broke my neck, crushed my skull, impaled me on shards of my own magic. I died screaming. I died fighting. I died begging. I died in utter silence, resigned to the inevitable. But my death was the easy part. I watched Tony die, over and over. I saw him burn in the shell of his own armor. I saw him ripped in half by the Outriders. I saw him stare up at a sky full of warships, his arc reactor flickering out like a dying star, whispering Pepper's name. I heard his daughter's name on his lips in 100,000 different timelines, a final desperate prayer to a god who wasn't listening. I saw futures where he survived, but at the cost of everyone else. Futures where he became a tyrant to enforce peace, his heart so broken it was replaced entirely by the cold logic of the machine. I saw him grow old and bitter, haunted by the ghosts of those he couldn't save. And in every single one, I saw a piece of his soul flake away like ash. I watched them all die. Every permutation, every possible agony. I saw Captain America's shield shatter 1,000,000 times, and with it, the hope of a generation. I saw Thor, a god of thunder, drowned in the vacuum of space, his final breath a silent scream. I saw a reality where the Hulk was driven so mad with grief that he tore the planet apart with his bare hands. I lived through the aftermath, the silence of a dead world. You cannot witness that level of suffering and remain unchanged. It's a poison, a radiation of the soul. Each future I witnessed became a part of me, a ghost that lives behind my eyes. When I look at my friends, I don't just see them. I see all the ways they can die. I see the specters of their alternate selves, the echoes of their million defeats. The weight of that knowledge, it's a drowning tide. And for what? For one single, narrow, treacherous path to victory. A path that required a surgeon's precision, but on the scale of a cosmos. A single incision in the fabric of fate. That's what I told myself. That's the story that lets me sleep at night, when I can sleep at all. That I was the doctor making the hard call, choosing the one painful surgery that would save the patient. The universe, but the more I replay it, the more I see the flaw in my own logic. The arrogance. 14,605 outcomes. And only one victory. It's not just improbable. It's a statistical impossibility. It's a lie. The time stone, it doesn't just show you the future. That's a parlor trick. It's a consciousness. An ancient, impossibly vast intelligence. It doesn't present a menu of options from which you can choose. It guides you. It herds you. It shows you millions of paths of pure, unrelenting horror. And then it presents one single gleaming path that looks like hope. It corners you. It breaks your will with an onslaught of despair until you are so desperate, so broken, that you will seize upon that one path without question. It showed me what it needed me to see. It needed Tony Stark to die. It needed the sacrifice. It needed the perfect, poetic, tragic ending that would galvanize a universe and cauterize the wound of Thanos. The stone didn't care about Stephen Strange's morality. It didn't care about a father leaving behind his daughter. It cared about balance, about the grand cosmic equation. We were all just numbers, variables to be solved for. I wasn't the surgeon. I was the scalpel, wielded by a force I couldn't possibly comprehend to make a cut I was manipulated into believing was my own choice. I gave away the stone. I told Tony it was the only way. I set the final play in motion, all of it. I did it willingly. I was the perfect instrument, proud, arrogant, so convinced of my own intellect that I never stopped to consider that I was being played, that my very desire to control the outcome was the string by which I was being puppeteered. That is the true horror, not the visions of death, but the realization that my own free will might have been the greatest illusion of them all. And where does that leave me now? Adrift. I broke the laws of nature to fix my hands. Then I broke the laws of reality to fix the universe. I've become a creature of paradox, a man of science who wields magic, a healer who has seen more death than any being should, a guardian of time who is utterly lost in its currents. I see her, sometimes. Christine, not the one from my world. That door is closed. That wound is scarred over. But in the cracks of the multiverse, in the quiet moments when the walls between worlds grow thin, I see other versions. I see a world where I never got in the car, where my hands are still steady and I'm chief of neurosurgery and she and I are married. We have children. I see the lines of laughter around her eyes. I see a life of profound, beautiful, ordinary happiness. And it is a torment beyond any physical pain I have ever known. Because I can see it. I can feel the warmth of that life, the simple joy of it. But I am a ghost looking through a window. I am the man who sacrificed that reality for this one. And for what? So I can stand here in a silent museum of magical artifacts, cloaked in a sentient cape that feels more like a prison warden's shawl, and guard against threats born from the very powers I now command. There's a cosmic truth you learn in this line of work. The universe craves balance, but it despises control. Every act of control, every attempt to impose your will upon the grand design creates an echo, a debt. I healed my hands, and the debt was the loss of my old life. We resurrected half the universe, and the debt was the emergence of threats that could shatter the multiverse. I looked into the future to find one path to victory, and the debt is my own soul. I am forever the man who has seen too much. Sometimes I try to remember what it felt like before. To not know. To believe that time only moved in one direction. To see a scar as just a scar and not a ripple in space-time. To feel the simple, uncomplicated pain of a broken bone or a broken heart without the crushing context of infinite other breakages across infinite other worlds. That ignorance was a gift, the most precious magic of all, and I didn't even know I possessed it. I walk these halls, the Sanctum Sanctorum. The name is so grand, but it is a lonely place. The silence here is different. It's not empty, it's full. It's the silence of a billion sleeping realities, a cosmic hum just below the threshold of hearing. It's the silence of the void between stars, the silence of a library filled with books whose titles alone would drive a sane person mad. My hands are steady now. They no longer tremble. I thought for a long time that this was a sign of healing, a sign of acceptance, but I was wrong. They aren't steady because I've found peace. They're steady because I am no longer a surgeon who heals. I am a pillar, a constant, a living anchor point in a sea of chaos. My hands have forgotten the delicate art of mending flesh and bone. They are no longer instruments of repair. They are instruments of consequence. They have forgotten how to hold a scalpel, how to hold a lover's hand, how to hold anything at all except the weight of everything.